Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you three modern books that I believe are going to be classics in the future. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, tea or your beverage of choice and let's get into it. I really need this coffee today. I am so sleepy. So just give me a minute. Oh my god, that's so good. So I have got my iPad here with my notes on it that I might be referring to, so just if you see me looking here, that's what it is. So I wanted to share, I have a much longer list of books that I think could be classics, but I thought let's just do these top three just now, and then if you guys enjoy this video you can leave me a comment and I can definitely do more. But I really loved like typing up the notes for this video and actually really thinking about why I think these books deserve to be classics and to be like studied in schools in the future, like required reading. Yeah, so anyway, the criteria that I have for these books to be considered for future classics are: they have some sort of critical and public acclaim, they have made some sort of cultural impact, and most importantly, they've made me feel something and I therefore believe that they are important and have something to say. So that's the criteria. So the first book that I believe will become a modern classic is going to come as a shock to absolutely no one, and it is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. So, The Song of Achilles, I'm sure most of you know what it's about. It is about the love story of Patroclus and Achilles taking place during the Trojan War. I'm not going to go too much into it because I think most people, even if you haven't read it, know what it's about. So critical achievements for this book. It won the Orange Prize for Fiction, which is now I think called the Women's Prize for Fiction, in 2012. And what I found really interesting is this book had a massive resurgence almost 10 years after it was originally released on Book Talk. This book, for whatever reason, just went absolutely viral and people were talking about it and reading it and like everyone was just going crazy for it. That was when I actually picked it up. I think I'd seen the book. Do you know what's interesting, right? I think I'd seen the book on shelves before and the cover that I saw was Achilles' helmet, and for some reason that put me off. Like for some reason I was just like, oh, it's just gonna be a book about like war. Like I'm not interested in that. It is so far removed from that. I was so wrong and I'm so glad I finally read it. So it focuses on the humanity of Patroclus and Achilles and their love story. It is tragic, it is beautiful, it's also a queer book, which I think is really important. It really celebrates love in all of its forms, and it made me cry. It is not often that a book makes me cry, and this one definitely did. And I think this book is responsible for this new wave of Greek mythology or mythology retellings in general. Now that is such a huge genre of books, but before Song of Achilles, it really wasn't. Like there was some books out there, but now, yeah, mythology retellings are massive. I mean, it is undoubtedly my favourite genre of book at the moment. And I really think we have Madeline Miller and this book to thank for that. So that is definitely what I would class as its cultural impact. And we already know the impact it had on me because I was sobbing by the end of it. So yeah, for those reasons, I really believe The Song of Achilles deserves to be... Achilles? So yeah, for those reasons, I really believe The Song of Achilles deserves to be a classic. Okay, up next, the next book that I think deserves to be a classic is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Any excuse, honestly, to show off my limited edition Hunger Games copy. I just think these are... I just can't get enough of them. Sorry. But yeah, so The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, again, if you've been living under a rock, it is set in a dystopian future. There's themes of surveillance, war, classism, injustice, propaganda, the list goes on and on. And basically the main plot of this book is there are these games held every year. 2 children from each district in Panem are basically sacrificed. In these games they have to fight to the death and only one victor can remain. So, critical acclaim for this book. In 2008 it won Publishers Weekly Book of the Year. Let me just consult my notes for that. Yeah, best book of the year. God, sorry, I was just checking 2008 because that seems like a lifetime ago. getting old. Yeah, it was 2008. And it honestly felt at that point every single person in the world was reading this book. I think it was around the time I picked it up, or I was maybe a little bit late to the game, but I definitely read them before the films came out. And I just think these books, but this first one in particular, is just absolutely astounding. It is filled with social commentary, and it unfortunately feels all too relevant in 2026. I also think it really elevated the YA genre, because Katniss is a teenage girl in the book, but she has agency, and it doesn't just focus on awkward teenage romances or love interests. Like, they're there, and that is definitely a plot point, but that is, like, for me, like, it's such a minor plot point. It really focuses on much bigger issues. Katniss has a lot of agency, and she's also her own person. Like, she's not defined by, yes, she's a sister, yes, she's a daughter, yes, she has love interests, but she's not defined by any of that. She really is her own person, and she's really complex. She is a complex female character, which I think is quite rare to see in YA in books in general, to be honest, and films in general. We like strong female characters, and they're great, but I really think Katniss is a great example of, yeah, she is a strong female character, but she's a complex female character. Sometimes she does things and you're like, oh, why have you done that? Why have you said that? Why do you feel this way? But that's the complexity of human nature, and I think that's the beauty, and that's why her character feels so real and relatable. There was a Goodreads poll where this book was recognised as the defining book of its era. And I think that, I mean, say no more, that says it all, doesn't it? And that's not even mentioning the massive success the films have had. I think this has had a huge cultural impact and really changed the landscape for YA fiction. I feel like after this book, and to be fair, these books might have already been written, I don't know the exact timeline, but I feel like after these books we had a huge popularity in books like Divergent and Maze Runner. So again, it kind of sparked this resurgence and interest in YA fiction. But I think these are hugely important books, and I really believe they will stand the test of time. And for that reason, I think The Hunger Games deserves to be a classic. Coffee break. Okay, last but not least on this very short but sweet list, the third book that I truly believe deserves to be a classic is The Green Mile by Stephen King. So this book won the extremely prestigious Bram Stoker Award in 1996 for Best Novel, which, I mean, that's huge. I find this really interesting. This book was originally released in 6 monthly installments, and it was deemed a literary event. Why do we not do things like that now? How exciting would that be to release a book like a TV series? Like, just in little monthly installment. I mean, that sounds so exciting. Like, can we bring that back, please? Please. I want that. It has really profound themes of capital punishment, racial injustice, the nature of evil, but interestingly, it isn't actually one of Stephen King's classic horror books. This is more centred around magical realism. It's just a masterpiece, in my opinion, honestly. The film adaptation of this book received 4 Academy Award nominations, and it's widely considered one of the best adaptations of Stephen King's work on screen ever, and I can definitely testify to that. I read this book, I think, over 10 years ago now, and I can still see, like, visualise the characters in my head. I can still hear what they sound like. There is one scene in particular, and I'll never talk about the exact scene, because if you've read it you'll know, and if you haven't read it I don't want to spoil it, because you must read it, and failing that you must watch the film. But there's one scene in this book, and if you know you know, and please leave me a comment if you know, this scene has haunted me since the moment I read it. It is so gruesome and horrific and just, yeah, I can't, visceral, like, I don't know how else to describe it, but truly Stephen King at his best, in my opinion. Stephen King is undoubtedly a prolific writer that in himself has had huge cultural impacts. I mean, still to this day, we've just had the Welcome to Derry series, which I really enjoyed. We have like his books are constantly being adapted, or constantly, like Stranger Things, like I truly believe we would not have had Stranger Things without Stephen King. That is how massive his impact is. And if any of his books are going to become a classic, I think it should be this one. So there we have it. Those were 3 books that I think deserve to become classics in the modern day for our grandkids and great grandkids to read and study. Let me know what you think in the comments, if you agree with me, if you don't, what books you think should be classics, and if you think I should do another video like this, because I do have a much longer list. I just wanted to put the feelers out and see if this is something people are interested in. So yeah, definitely let me know down below. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!